The conclusion of the Gita is very well summarized in one verse, which I would like to do now. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyah moksha ishyami ma shuchaha. Says Sarvadharman parityajya, giving up everything. Okay, come only to my sharanam, to my refuge, and I will free you from all the papas. Papa means all the afflictions, and I will give you freedom, which is what we call moksha. We have to understand that is Lord Krishna somebody who is very possessive? He says, you leave everything else and you come to me and I'll save you. Is that the message that he is giving? No, luckily not. We don't need a God who is a possessive God and who says, only if you come to me and you leave everything else, I will bless you, otherwise you will be condemned. That's not what it is. Then what does this verse mean? As I said, that every human being, like Arjuna, has a fundamental problem. No matter how much you have achieved in life, no matter how successful you are, still there is this problem of everything not being in place. The sense of fulfillment is not there. Therefore, you ask anybody, how is everything? And they'll say, yeah, things are going well, but. This but is something which is very revealing. That means everything is not in its place. There is a sense of lack, there is sense of inadequacy, there is a sense of non-fulfillment that we don't quite know how to fill. And in fact, this sense of lack can only be filled if you know the reality of yourself. And Arjuna realizes that the situation that he was confronted with led him to inquire into what is it which will give him the ultimate satisfaction. And this is where the teaching begins by Lord Krishna first starts revealing to him that how you're not this small little individual, you are conscious being, which is the truth of the whole universe. The entire universe depends upon consciousness, whereas consciousness is independent of everything else. Then the maturity that is required, the reorientation that is required for you to understand this reality was revealed. So that was the discussion through Karma Yoga. So through this karma, the karma which generally leads to further and further frustration, how it can be converted to your maturity, that was being discussed. What are the different aspects? One is when I choose the actions, what are the criteria that I need to take into consideration? The second, when the results come, how do I have to understand that the results come from the order and therefore I begin to take them gracefully? Third, one has to look into one's unconscious things which are buried from the past and revisit them and re-understand them. Then you are released from the burden of the past. That is a very essential step. Then there was also meditation which was talked about, the meditation which brings about focus and depth to your understanding. And these are all the different ways that one grows into a human being that becomes deserving of this knowledge. But in the knowledge, there is one more aspect. If the knowledge of what is the reality is to be complete, I must ask myself one more question. How did this whole universe come about? If you don't inquire into the cause of the universe, your inquiry into what is not complete. So that was also inquired into. We saw the fact that there is a creator. It is reasonable to think that there is a creator. Things cannot just come like that. But that creator must have all knowledge in order to create this whole universe, and also must have the capacity to create the universe. So Ishvara, the cause of the universe, we understood to be all knowledge and all capacity. Sarvajnaha Sarvashaktiman Ishvara. Then the question was raised as to where is this Ishvara. There we saw the fact that Ishvara is not only the efficient cause, the maker of the universe, but also the material cause of the universe. If Ishvara is the material cause, then you can ask the question, then Ishvara should be everywhere. And that is exactly what Lord revealed, that it is true that I am in form of everything that is there in the universe. How? We saw that what seems to be something which is very tangible reduces into nothing but something that you cannot even finally say is a substantial material. Then what is it that arranges everything as all these different objects which behave in such an intelligent manner and which are all interlinked? And that is what is all knowledge. It is present in every form. From one standpoint, it may seem like a given form with a certain characteristic, but upon inquiry, you will understand that it is nothing but all knowledge which is manifesting in that form. So ultimately, you see, Ishvara doesn't become a matter of belief, it becomes a matter of understanding. And what you understand is all that is here is Ishvara. Then the final question needs to be asked, and that is, what is the relationship between consciousness and all knowledge? That is the final vision, that just as my little knowledge depends upon consciousness for its existence, even this all knowledge which makes everything in the universe what is, also is equally dependent upon consciousness for its existence. To understand this idea clearly, we'll give an example. A wave is one part and the ocean is one huge entity which incorporates every wave. But if you look into the reality of wave, what you find is water. When you look into the reality of the ocean, which is much bigger than the wave, what you find is nothing but water. Same way, if you look into the reality of individual, you find nothing but consciousness. If you look into the reality of the cause of the universe, all knowledge, what you find equally, the substance is nothing but consciousness. And that is what ultimately the vision is. Ishvara reveals to this individual that ultimately there is no difference between you and me. There is a difference in form, but there is no difference in the absolute reality or the final substance from which everything comes from. And if you as an individual is given the capacity to inquire into it, you are given the capacity to prepare yourself for it, you are given this teaching, and if you expose yourself to this teaching, definitely you will gain this knowledge. And that is what is meant by you are given this capacity, you come to me and you begin to understand that what you are is limitless and non-different from Ishvara. And that is what is meant in this verse. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyaha moksha ishyami ma shuchaha.